The day after our wedding, I was covering for Nathan's assistant with drinks and drank until I was spitting blood. He complained that my blood had stained the assistant's skirt and furiously yelled at me, "Are you trying to deliberately ruin my business?" To please the assistant, he publicly beat me until my head was bleeding. Unable to tolerate it anymore, I asked for a divorce. He scoffed, "You're a useless nobody I support. If we divorce, you'll starve." Calmly, I dialed a number. "Henry," I said, "I've made my decision. Sterling should go bankrupt." Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel and let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from. The day after our wedding, our Maldives honeymoon was cancelled. I was abruptly dragged to a Sterling business partnership cocktail party. Since it was so sudden, I was dressed simply, and Nathan was ashamed of me. He casually pointed to the employee table. "Wearing rags like that, it's embarrassing. You sit over there." Meanwhile, Mia stood beside him, draped in a designer gown and sparkling with jewelry, as if deliberately flaunting herself. Employees glanced from me to her, whispering, "This is the CEO's wife? She looks so shabby. Don't you know? Mrs. Zhao only secured her position because of her pregnancy. She's Mr. Zhao's true love." I felt as if I was sitting on pins and needles and wanted to escape within 3 minutes of the event starting. The business partnership cocktail party had invited several executives from Grand Corporation, a company Sterling had been desperately trying to collaborate with. Richard from Grand, having drunk too much, tried to force Mia to drink. Nathan felt bad for her, turning to me. "You cover for Mia with drinks." I stared at him, shocked. He knew perfectly well I had a sensitive stomach and couldn't touch alcohol. But before I could speak, Nathan grew impatient. "What's wrong with having a drink? It's not going to kill you." Mia's sweet, delicate voice chimed in. "Nathan, don't blame Grace. She just had a miscarriage, and her body is very delicate. The baby's gone, and you're still making a fuss? Just drink." I stiffly picked up the glass. The strong liquor burned as it went down, and my stomach churned. The summit executives, seeing me, became even more enthusiastic, coming over one after another to force me to drink. "Mrs. Zhao certainly holds her liquor well. So this is Mrs. Zhao. I never would have guessed." I suppressed my nausea, drinking glass after glass until the room spun. Mia snuggled into Nathan's embrace, her voice sickeningly sweet. "Grace, you're truly living a life of leisure. Unlike me, I'm working myself to death handling business deals with Mr. Zhao." She looked at me provocatively, her words implicitly highlighting her intimacy with Nathan. The whispers around us grew louder. "No wonder Mr. Zhao is so cold to her. Turns out she's not cut out for this." I clenched my fists tightly, my nails nearly digging into my flesh. Mia had been spreading rumors at the company that I was a gold digger. She claimed I had slept my way into Nathan's life through dishonorable means to become Mrs. Zhao. I wanted to explain, but my throat felt choked, and a bitter taste of blood rose in my mouth. I couldn't stop myself from vomiting a mouthful of blood, the crimson liquid mixing with the red wine and splashing onto Mia's elegant skirt. Nathan violently shoved me away, the force making me stumble a few steps and nearly fall. He carefully helped Mia, his face full of concern. "Are you okay? Were you startled?" He knelt to gently wipe the blood from her skirt. He completely ignored me, standing pale and swaying beside them. "Nathan, I'm fine, don't worry." She pretended to look at me with concern. "Grace, are you all right? Do you want to go to the hospital?" Grace must be upset, that's why she deliberately threw up on me. She sighed softly, her voice filled with grievance. "I know she's never liked me. She attributed my loss of composure to jealousy, casting herself as an innocent victim. "Grace, look what you've done." Nathan pointed at me. "Do you have any idea how important this business dinner is?" I opened my mouth, wanting to explain, but no sound came out. "Apologize to Richard," Nathan commanded sternly. "And for Mia's dress, you'll pay for it with your living expenses." I gave a bitter laugh. For 7 years, I had been with Nathan, helping him build everything from nothing. Ever since Sterling was established, he had seen me as a burden. Even marrying me, he treated it as a handout. Living expenses? Had he ever given me a single cent? "What are you staring at? Hurry up," Nathan urged impatiently. Richard leaned in. "Mrs. Zhao, it's nothing, really. Just apologize." I didn't want to say another word to these people. Just as I turned, my wrist was grabbed. Richard's liquor-soaked face leaned close, his eyes holding undisguised lechery. "Mrs. Zhao, don't be in such a hurry to leave. We haven't had enough fun yet." I struggled to pull my hand away, but his grip only tightened. Nathan stood by, as if everything happening before him had nothing to do with him. Just then, an unfamiliar voice suddenly interjected. Wait a moment. A young woman stepped forward. Mr. Zhao, I met this lady at Henry's private banquet a while ago. She was personally introduced by Henry as a guest at the main table. Her words instantly froze the atmosphere, and everyone's gaze focused on me. Nathan froze for a second, then burst into a harsh, grating laugh. Henry? The wealthiest Hayes? Are you sure you haven't mistaken her for someone else? His tone was full of mockery, as if he'd heard the funniest joke in the world. Stop joking. Mia immediately chimed in. Grace has never even been to a proper event. How could she possibly know Henry? Her eyes were full of scorn. She wasn't just serving drinks, was she? The surrounding crowd erupted in laughter. Nathan seemed emboldened and roughly grabbed me. Since you're so important, why don't you kneel and apologize to Richard? Imagine, the wealthiest man's esteemed guest bowing to us. What an honor. Rage burned through my reason. Let go of me. I broke free from Nathan's grasp, snatched a glass from the table, and smashed it fiercely onto the floor. The crisp sound of shattering glass echoed. Nathan froze, clearly not expecting me to resist. Grace, are you insane? Nathan's face turned ashen. He grabbed my hair and slammed me to the ground. Bitch! How dare you give me attitude? You must have a death wish. Nathan's voice came as if from hell, each word chilling. Grace, how can you be so ungrateful? Nathan is just doing this for the company. The people around us whispered, some looked gleeful, while others openly egged him on. Richard also came over. Mr. Zhao, calm down, calm down. Women, you know, a good beating and they'll behave. I struggled to stand up, but Nathan stepped on me with his foot. Trying to run? Not so fast. Nathan's voice was filled with triumph. The large diamond ring on Mia's hand glittered brightly under the lights. She raised her hand and slapped me, the ring sharply cutting my eye. I felt a sharp pain, and warm liquid streamed down my face, blurring my vision with red. Someone screamed in the ballroom. The hotel security guards rushed in, and seeing the chaotic scene, immediately called the police. The police arrived quickly and took us to the police department. On the way to the police department, Nathan continued to curse at me. You jinx. Just wait until I get you home. Mia nestled beside Nathan, softly comforting him. Nathan, don't be angry. It's not worth ruining your health. I was shoved and stumbled along, the wound at my eye still bleeding. At the police department, Nathan was still arrogant and overbearing. Officers, you really need to control this crazy woman. Mia also added fuel to the fire. Officers, my dress was ruined by her. It's a designer gown worth hundreds of thousands. She has to pay for it. The police looked at me, then at Nathan and Mia, and frowned. What is your relationship? The officer asked. Just then, a sharp voice cut in. Nathan, what's going on here? It was Nathan's mother, Carol. The moment she entered and saw me, she rushed over, pointing at my nose and yelling insults. Grace, what trouble have you caused now? You couldn't even keep the baby, and Nathan was still willing to marry you. What more do you want? Let me tell you, our Zhao family has no place for a woman like you. A young officer whispered, this is a private matter between you, and it's difficult for us to intervene. A private matter? She hit someone, caused a scene. Nathan insisted relentlessly. Officers, you must lock her up for a few days and teach her a good lesson. The officer stepped forward to examine my injuries, frowning as he said, the injuries on this lady's face could be classified as minor. Who exactly inflicted them? Carol was unreasonable. What's wrong with a wife getting hit? All right, everyone calm down. The older officer tried to smooth things over. Between a husband and wife, it's just a typical marital spat. Can't you talk things out? Sign this police report, and then you can all go home. Looking at their faces, I felt a wave of chill deep in my heart. Was this the good marriage I had sacrificed everything for? I suddenly felt that for the past 7 years, I had been living like a joke. Divorce. I spoke, my voice soft but clearly audible to everyone. Nathan froze. What did you say? Say it again. I said, divorce. I repeated, enunciating each word heavily. Don't play hard to get. Nathan snapped back to reality, scoffing. Who else would want you besides me? Just apologize to Mia honestly and go home to reflect. I'm not joking. I looked at them, my heart completely cold. When you had nothing, I stood by you. But how are you treating me now? Let's divorce. I'm tired. Carol rushed forward, trying to hit me, but was stopped by an officer. My son is a CEO. For him to even consider you, a washed-up wife, is a blessing you've accumulated over lifetimes. And you dare talk about divorce? You've had a few good years with my son, and now you don't know your place? If you leave our Zhao family, you'll be begging on the streets. Mia nestled against Nathan. Grace is confused. How can she make such a scene in public? It's so embarrassing. Sterling is growing bigger and bigger. As the CEO's wife, you can't be so ill-mannered. How could I have married such an embarrassing tramp? Nathan roared. Grace, you said it. Don't regret it when you leave me. Carol also reacted. Right. A woman like this should be thrown out. You'll leave with nothing. She turned to Mia, putting on a fawning smile. Mia, from now on, you'll be our Zhao family's daughter-in-law. Mia couldn't hide the smile on her face, shyly lowering her head. The officers stood by, awkwardly watching us, unsure what to say. Come on, let's go get this done now. Nathan pulled me and headed out. The process was quick. Within minutes, I had my divorce certificate. Walking out of the county's office alone, I felt half my soul had been drained. I had stood by Nathan as he built from the ground up, helping him manage his business and take care of the household. Yet, I had never received a penny in wages, and all the family assets were in his name. I had no choice but to leave with nothing. It was laughable. There was only one day between my marriage certificate and my divorce certificate. Nathan gloated. Grace, let's see how arrogant you can be now. Mia linked her arm through Nathan's. Nathan, we can finally be together. You'll regret this. I looked at the man I had once loved, saying each word slowly and deliberately. Regret? Ha 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 ha. Nathan laughed uproariously. Grace, have you been beaten senseless? What right do you have to make me regret anything? Exactly. A scorned woman who's and thrown out, daring to talk so big. Carol also scoffed. I ignored them and turned to leave. I took out my cell phone and dialed a number. It rang a few times before being answered. Henry, I've made my decision. I've divorced Nathan. Sterling should go bankrupt. Nathan doesn't deserve it. After returning to the Zhao family mansion to pack a few clothes, I took a taxi directly to the Meridian. It was the city's most prestigious 7-star hotel, one of the Hayes' properties. The car stopped smoothly at the entrance of the Meridian. I pulled my suitcase and walked straight to the lobby. Before I could speak, a middle-aged man in a sharp suit quickly approached, his face beaming with smiles. You've finally arrived. Your room is ready for you, the penthouse presidential suite. I gave a slight nod, saying nothing more. He respectfully took my suitcase and personally led me to the elevator. The elevator door slowly opened. He pressed the top floor button, being exceptionally careful throughout, as if afraid of any slight oversight. The elevator dinged to a halt, and the presidential suite door automatically opened. The presidential suite was utterly luxurious, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking a dazzling night view. And this should have been mine. I changed into a sharp business suit, put on my high heels, and walked out of the room. In the lobby, I heard a familiar commotion. Oh, Mr. Richard, please help us. The syrupy sweet voice sent shivers down my spine. I saw Nathan bowing and scraping, accompanying several men who looked like executives. Mia, meanwhile, flitted among them like a butterfly, giggling delightedly. They saw me too, and their expressions instantly froze, looking as if they had swallowed flies. What are you doing here? Nathan's voice was filled with surprise. Grace, you never change your ways, do you? Still trying to cling to me? Is this a place for you? Get out now, don't make a scene here. I'm just here to look at the venue, Mild. I'm planning to hold a press conference here, and you're all invited. Mia shrieked, she's insane. You actually think you can win Nathan back using public opinion? Nathan looked at me as if I were a joke. Trying to force me to come back with this method? Let me tell you, no chance. Mia chimed in from the side, Grace, just give it up. Nathan is sick of you. Even if you turn the world upside down, he wouldn't spare you another glance. Their voices drew glances from everyone around. I gave them a quick glance, ignored them, and turned to the front desk. Please show me the venue for the press conference. Stop right there. Nathan, seeing me ignore him, flew into a rage. Security. Where's security? Get this crazy woman out of here. Several burly security guards menacingly surrounded me, looking as if they were about to lay hands on me. Stop. A sharp shout rang out. A middle-aged man in a black suit rushed over, sweating profusely. I recognized him as the lobby manager of the Meridian. He hurried to my side, bowed deeply, his voice full of apprehension. Ms. Lin, I apologize. It's our oversight. We've let you be disturbed. Then, he turned and roared at the security guards. Are you blind? This is our hotel's most distinguished guest. Ms. Lin, the press conference venue you requested is ready. I'll personally escort you there. He carefully made a pleased gesture, his attitude utterly respectful. Mia said sarcastically, well, Grace. Didn't expect you to snag another rich man so quickly. Nathan roared, we just divorced, and you've already found someone else? You're overthinking it. I smiled, touching the bandage near my eye. My gaze swept past them to the other executives. Gentlemen, I'm sure you're aware of the situation with Sterling. You also know how much effort I, Grace, put into the grand project. Now that I've left Sterling, I intend to start my own venture. The press conference is tomorrow. After you've attended, then consider Ho Grand wants to collaborate with. Nathan was completely stunned and rushed forward, trying to grab me. His hand hadn't even reached me before he was stopped by several security guards. Sir, please calm down. Mr. Zhao, please leave. Don't make things difficult for us. The lobby manager, his face cold, ordered them to leave. Nathan's face turned ashen. You bitch. She's a useless nobody who was kicked out of her home. What could she possibly achieve? Nathan hastily tried to explain, but he was held back by the executives. I saw one of the executives looking displeased, seemingly deep in thought. Another executive also spoke, his tone clearly distant. I turned and walked away, stepping onto the stage, becoming the focus of the entire hall. Today, I'd like to clarify a few things. I raised my voice, my gaze sweeping across the room. Regarding the status of my marriage with Mr. Nathan, and the accusations made by Ms. Mia against me, I paused, took a deep breath, and systematically recounted how Mia had spread rumors, slandered, and framed me. The audience was silent, broken only by the clicking of camera flashes. Regarding all their actions, I reserve the right to pursue legal action. Grace, why are you doing this to me? What did I ever do to offend you? I had invited those two, and they had indeed come. Are you crazy? Nathan's face was filled with shock. To win me back, you'll really do anything. He rushed onto the stage to snatch the microphone from me. She's just a scorned woman from our Zhao family. Don't believe her nonsense. Just then, a tall figure emerged from the crowd and blocked him. Security, please escort this gentleman off the stage. Alexander said. Grace, let's get to the real announcement. I looked at Alexander gratefully, steadying myself. Today, I, Grace, officially announce my entry into the business world with the establishment of Grace. It is my honor to be the chief partner of Grace, Alexander said. Alexander stood eyed me, his voice deep and magnetic. I, Alexander, will invest $1 billion into Grace. It's Alexander, the top investor in the country, and he's investing $1 billion. Who exactly is Grace? The audience instantly erupted, and the reporters buzzed with excitement. Alexander turned his head to me. Grace, I believe in you. You are the most commercially talented person I've ever met. Alexander, a name that commands power and influence in the business world, now stood beside me, his words filled with praise for me. He even mentioned that we were childhood friends, a remark that undoubtedly hinted at my strong backing. Reporters were practically shoving microphones in my face, eager to dig out every secret about me. $1 billion. This was no small sum, enough to propel any startup to soaring heights, especially with Alexander personally at the helm. I looked at the people in the audience who had once mocked me. Their faces were now filled with shock and confusion. Especially, you're shameless. Mia shrieked like a wildcat whose tail had been stepped on. You really did hook another rich guy. You're something else. Her face was contorted with jealousy and rage, her elaborate makeup unable to conceal her ugliness. She was unwilling to accept it. She couldn't understand why I, the scorned woman she had trampled, could actually make such a comeback. Nathan looked at me as if he'd never seen me before, wanting to rush onto the stage for a closer look. Get them out. Several security guards immediately stepped forward, grabbing Nathan and Mia and escorting them out. Let go of me. Do you know who I am? I'm the CEO of Sterling. Nathan was still struggling, still trying to intimidate people with his ridiculous status. Grace, you bitch. You'll die a terrible death. Mia was still screaming and cursing at me. Just then, several police officers entered, heading directly for Nathan and Mia. We've received a complaint from Ms. Grace. Please come with us to assist The investigation. My legal team's efficiency was astounding. One moment they were throwing a fit at the police department, the next they were silenced by a notice of detention. The police report, the injury assessment, every single piece of evidence became irrefutable proof of their crimes. Slander, assault, any of these charges would put them in for a rough time. Nathan panicked. He hadn't expected me to be so resolute, nor so resourceful. He blamed everything on Mia. Mia called me, sobbing uncontrollably. She begged me to testify that Nathan had attacked me and she was merely following orders. I refused. Of course, I knew Nathan was the true culprit. But my lawyer told me that the injury on my face was the decisive evidence. Even if I implicated Nathan, he wouldn't receive a heavy sentence. Instead, it would allow Mia to escape conviction. My leniency gave Nathan a laughable misconception. He actually thought I still loved him. He suddenly appeared before me, holding a large, garish bouquet of red roses. Grace, I know I was wrong. He looked at me with deep affection. I shouldn't have been misled by that bitch Mia. He tried to take my hand. I recoiled in disgust. Grace, let's get back together. Did he think I was still that fool who would give up everything for love? Nathan, do you think I'm stupid? I turned to leave. Nathan grabbed me, refusing to let go. Nathan, let go of me. I shrieked, my voice filled with disgust and fear. But he held me even tighter. Grace, I love you. I can't live without you. Do you remember we had a child? Come back, and we'll have another child. Sterling can't do without you, and our home can't do without you either. The moment he finished speaking, a group of reporters leaped out. Camera flashes flickered wildly, blinding me. Ms. Lin, are you and Mr. Zhao getting back together? Ms. Lin, will Grace merge with Sterling? Nathan presented a deeply affectionate image to the cameras. Everyone, there's just been a small misunderstanding between us. He looked at me tenderly, as if we had truly just had a minor disagreement. I believe Grace will come back to me. He had called the reporters, trying to use this method to force me to return. It was utterly shameless. I have nothing to do with you. We're already divorced. I announced loudly, enunciating each word heavily. I struggled to break free, but couldn't. Nathan grabbed my legs, kneeling on the ground. Grace, have you forgotten the 7 years we spent together? I suddenly started laughing. Just a few months ago, Nathan had grabbed my hair and forced me to kneel before someone else. Now, he was kneeling before me, declaring his love. Just then, a figure pulled Nathan away, shielding me. Mr. Zhao, please have some self-respect. It was Alexander. He looked at Nathan coldly, his eyes filled with warning. This is a public place, please mind your conduct. He turned, looking at me gently. Grace, are you all right? He asked with concern, his eyes full of sympathy. I shook my head, and my tears, unable to be held back any longer, streamed down. He gently wiped away my tears, his movements incredibly tender. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I am Alexander. He announced loudly to the cameras. Today, I officially introduce to you all Ms. Grace, my girlfriend. The reporters burst into an uproar, and camera flashes intensified wildly. Nathan was completely dumbfounded. He stood there, motionless, like a statue. Following this incident, the stock price of Sterling immediately plummeted. A few days later, Nathan called me again. Grace, Sterling is something we built together. How can you bear to destroy it? Come back. The position of CEO's wife at Sterling will always be yours. I smiled. We're already divorced. There's nothing between us anymore. Grace, do you have to be so ruthless? Ruthless? When he slammed me to the ground, and Mia sliced my eye with her ring, why didn't he think about not being ruthless? Grace, don't think you're so special just because you've gotten involved with Alexander. Let me tell you, you're a slut. A tramp I've used and discarded. Nathan, consumed by rage, started spouting obscenities. I hung up. Such a person wasn't worth my breath. Nathan began to retaliate. He colluded with several companies to obstruct my projects. He also hired online trolls to spread baseless rumors online, claiming I had committed infidelity and only secured investments due to an improper relationship with Alexander. Suddenly, the internet was flooded with negative news about me. My company was greatly affected, employees were in a panic, and projects progressed slowly. Looking at those disgusting comments, I felt a surge of irritation. These people, knowing nothing, just indiscriminately insulted me based on a few baseless rumors and hearsay. Alexander and I attended an industry conference. As soon as we got out of the car, we were surrounded by a swarm of reporters. Ms. Lin, what is your relationship with Mr. Alexander? Ms. Lin, do you have any response to the online rumors? Ms. Lin, did you really commit infidelity? Suddenly, several people burst from the crowd, holding rotten eggs and throwing them at us. The scene was chaotic. I was shielded by Alexander, but still hit by a few rotten eggs. Sticky egg liquid streamed down my hair, making me look utterly pathetic. Alexander's face was terribly grim. He held me tightly and whispered, Grace, I'm sorry. I dragged you into this. Back at the hotel, Alexander helped me clean the stains from my hair, his movements gentle, his eyes full of sympathy. Grace, don't worry. I'll handle all of this. Thank you, I said. I know Henry asked you to look after me, but you don't have to sacrifice your entire future for me. He suddenly smiled. Did you know? When you were little, our two families had a childhood engagement. I froze. A childhood engagement? Alexander said that when I was little, I loved following him around, Constan. Calling him Big Brother all the time. If I hadn't suddenly disappeared back then, perhaps I would have married him already. I looked at Alexander, a mix of emotions swirling within me. I had always thought I was an orphan, never imagining that I would be sought out by the wealthiest Hayes after growing up. But if I returned to the Hayes, I would have to leave everything familiar behind and accept a marriage alliance. Back then, for Nathan and for Sterling, which we built together, I refused to return to the Hayes, willingly acting as an unknown, supportive wife by his side. And what was the result? I'm not doing this just to help you escape the rumors. I genuinely hope you can see me. Be my girlfriend, Grace. I agreed to Alexander. Perhaps I really should look forward. Even with Alexander's clarification, people still speculated about my background with Malice. I couldn't help but care. Fortunately, Henry finally returned to the country. He had aged considerably, with more gray hair at his temples, but his eyes were still sharp and alert. Grace, my child, you've suffered. Henry held me tightly, his voice choked with emotion. My nose stung, and tears, no longer controllable, flowed freely. At the press conference. Today, I officially introduce to you my granddaughter, Grace. Henry's voice, amplified by the microphone, echoed throughout the hall. She is the sole heir of the Hayes. Reporters frantically clicked their shutters, eager to capture every detail. All previous rumors about my granddaughter are pure slander. The family will pursue legal action against all those who spread rumors. Henry's voice was firm and authoritative. Henry was a man of his word, swift and decisive. Nathan was in a desperate mess. He tried to contact me through various connections, begging me to let him off the hook. Grace, we were husband and wife, after all. You can't be so heartless. He pleaded over the phone. Husband and wife? I scoffed. Nathan, do you deserve that tea? It'll? I hung up the phone. Sterling was already failing. Partners withdrew their investments one after another, and those who had once been fawning over him now avoided him like the plague. Nathan truly experienced the meaning of everyone's kicking him while he's down. I began to acquire shares of Sterling. I knew this was the most devastating blow to Nathan. I wanted him to witness firsthand how the business empire he had built with his own hands would crumble step by step. I saw Nathan again at a business dinner. He was wearing a wrinkled suit, his hair disheveled, and his face unshaven, completely lacking his former vigor. When he saw me, a glimmer of hope instantly ignited in his eyes. Grace! He rushed over, trying to grab my hand. I recoiled in disgust. Grace, I know I was wrong. Will you please forgive me? He pleaded in a humble tone. That bitch me, I instigated it. Let's start over, okay? Start over? I looked at him as if he were a joke. Nathan, do you think that's possible? Grace, I truly know I was wrong. I promise I'll treat you well from now on. He tried to say more, but I interrupted him. Nathan, save it. You, in your current state, make me sick. Carol also called me. She abandoned her usual arrogance, her voice now full of flattery. Grace, it was my fault before. I shouldn't have treated you that way. See, Nathan knows he was wrong now. Just forgive him this one time, okay? Mom? I scoffed. When did you ever consider me your daughter-in-law? Grace, I know you're a good child. You're soft-hearted, you wouldn't just stand by and do nothing, would you? She started playing the sympathy card. Soft-hearted? I remembered all the humiliation she had subjected me to, and how she had poisoned the relationship between Nathan and me. Mrs. Zhao, your soft-heartedness was reserved for Mia, wasn't it? Let me tell you, Nathan brought it upon himself to end up like this. None of you in the Zhao family will have an easy time. I immediately hung up and blocked her number. Sterling declared bankruptcy. I effortlessly acquired Sterling. What was once the lofty Sterling was now mine for the taking. I sat in what used to be Nathan's office, in the wide executive chair, feeling its luxurious leather, both opulent and comfortable. I turned the chair, looking out the window. Once, for him, I had given up everything from the Hayes. Now, I was back here, a victor. I knocked and entered, respectfully handing me a document. Miss Song, here is the asset list for Sterling. Please review it. I took the document and casually flipped through a few pages, which were densely filled with Sterling various assets. Everything once took pride in had now become my spoils. Send out the notice. We'll have a board meeting tomorrow. I'm officially taking over Sterling. The next day, I appeared at the board meeting as the new chairperson of the board of Sterling. The board members who had once been fawning over Nathan now wore sycophantic smiles, eager to curry favor with me. I watched their performance with a cold gaze, saying nothing. From today forward, Sterling will officially merge with the Hayes. My voice echoed through the conference room, firm and resonant. Nathan and his mother were evicted from their home by the bank. Their once luxurious mansion now bore an eviction notice. They were left on the streets, like stray dogs, homeless. I sat in my car, watching their pathetic figures. Nathan wore wrinkled clothes, his hair disheveled, his face unshaven. He had completely lost his former air of arrogance. Carol, meanwhile, sat on the ground, weeping and wailing, snot and tears streaming down her face, like a madwoman. "Grace, please, save me," Nathan cried, spotting my car. He rushed over as if clutching a lifeline. I rolled down the window, looking at him coldly. "Nathan, so you've come to this? Grace, I know I was wrong, I truly do. Please forgive me." He knelt on the ground, repeatedly banging his head on the ground. "Und. I promise I'll treat you well from now on." I looked at him as if he were a pathetic joke. "Nathan, save it. Your current state is truly disgusting to me." I rolled up the window and told the driver to go. Mia also couldn't escape legal consequences. Convicted of defamation and intentional assault, she received a 3-year prison sentence for her combined crimes. I had someone look into her situation in prison. I heard that when she first arrived, she was still defiant, constantly shouting and claiming she was innocent. Later, her fellow inmates taught her a harsh lesson, and she finally quieted down. I returned to the Meridian, where Sterling's business partnership cocktail party had been held, the very place where I had once been utterly humiliated. Only this time, I was here to host a banquet as the heir to the Hayes. The ballroom was ablaze with lights, filled with elegantly dressed guests, a symphony of clinking glasses and lively chatter. Everyone was deferential toward me, falling over themselves to curry favor. I stood amidst the crowd in a magnificent gown, the undeniable center of attention. Those who had once mocked me now wore fawning smiles, cautiously greeting me. "Thank you all for attending this banquet today," I said, standing on the stage. "First and foremost, I want to thank my grandfather, Henry, and the Hayes, for giving me all of this." My gaze swept across the room, finally resting on Henry. Henry sat below the stage, watching me with a look of profound satisfaction. "I will lead the Hayes to new heights of glory." My voice, amplified by the microphone, resonated throughout the hall. A thunderous applause erupted from the audience. "Grace, marry me." Alexander suddenly appeared, holding a bouquet of flowers, dropping to one knee as he gazed at me with deep affection. His appearance brought the atmosphere to a crescendo. Everyone cheered, showering us with blessings. I looked at Alexander, his eyes filled with love. I took the flower. And nodded. He excitedly slipped the diamond ring onto my ring finger and pulled me into a tight embrace. I gazed at the diamond ring on my ring finger, sparkling brilliantly. My life had finally turned a new page. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your perspectives, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.